Hi, I'm Pat and welcome back to the channel. Hey, we got something new and interesting today. So I brought the BMW i8 up to Harrsiburg in order to take a flight in a plane. And that's what this car is in right now. One big hangar. I got to admit, this is bigger than my garage. I'd actually enjoy being able to use this in order to work on the car. But no, I got my buddy Marian over here. He's got his BMW Z4 and he also has an airplane. But I want to introduce you to Marian. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, bud?
Hey guys, let's see. I like cars, I like airplanes. I don't much read manuals. That's what I got.
But check out this Z4. How long have you had this car?
This one, 08.
2008, and what year is it?
That's an 04.
It's an 04. So you've been driving this a lot, I take it?
It's almost got 34,000 miles on it.
34,000.
So.
Hey, it's in great shape too. Let's take a walk over. I want to take a closer look to this air power over here. What do we got? We got wings up over here. We got wings over here. So tell me a little bit about this plane.
1987 Mooney 201 Lycoming IO 360, puts out 200 horses at full compression. I'm about 92% compression on all of them. It's got a nice little autopilot, a GPS. It can stay up for about 8 hours, or as long as you can not go to the bathroom. But I've had it up across the country and back twice, from here to San Diego and back. Flies beautifully. Goes into short fields, goes on the grass fields, takes up about 3 people and some baggage and a full tank. And you can have some fun with it.
That's very, very cool. So what's this video all about? Well, this is a little insight into another hobby of mine, and that's aviation. I got my private pilot's license in 2003, but haven't been up in the air in quite a few years. It just gets too expensive. Now my friend Marian, who I had met while we were swing dancing together, well, he shared a love of aviation with me and told me a little bit about his time in the military. We're both veterans. And also shared a love of cars. So we got a chance to meet up quite a few times and spent some time driving around and even checking out Lamborghinis here at Lamborghini of Sterling. So this was my opportunity to spend some time in an airplane that Marian owns, and he gave me an opportunity to take off and fly over the area where I grew up in northeastern Pennsylvania. So here we are in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and this is Capital City Airport. It's a smaller airport next to Harrisburg International Airport. He gave me the opportunity to start the plane up and then taxi on out to the active runway and take off heading in a northeasterly direction. Now, one of the neat things about flying is that you're able to steer the plane with your feet using the rudder pedals, and then when you get lined up with the runway, you add throttle, and you got to maintain control of the plane using those rudder pedals until you get enough speed to rotate and take off. Was easy, but this is a new thing for me. I reach up and I put the landing gear up. This is the first time I've ever flown an airplane that had retractable landing gear, and that was quite an interesting experience to be able to take off and then have to put your gear up. Of course, I have to remember to put it back down because this is my first time in this plane. Now, it was a little windy and we needed to make some adjustments here to try to stay on course for the direction of air traffic control. We went ahead and climbed to a safe altitude, changed course on direction, and headed towards my old homestead in northeastern Pennsylvania. Now this is an interesting view. As we're climbing out and making a turn, you can see in the side window there to the left, that is the Susquehanna River, and just beyond that, those tall buildings are part of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the capital. And you'll see quite a few bridges down there. There's a railroad bridge, a couple 2-lane bridges, and a 4-lane bridge, which is Interstate 83. I'll be following Interstate 83 to its intersection with Interstate 81, and then I'll eventually be paralleling the Appalachian Mountains. I started to learn how to fly because I was insanely curious about what it was like to control a real airplane. You see, for many years I was into Flight Simulator, and I would pretend to fly at my computer desk. Eventually I bought a yoke and some rudder pedals, and I learned the procedures from some student pilots online. But that led to my desire to eventually get up in the air and fly a real airplane. Now, I've flown quite a bit over the years that I did have my license, but it's insanely expensive, and it was definitely a hobby that I started to get bored with. With the amount of money that it takes to fly an airplane, I could put that money into other hobbies like cars. So today was an opportunity to actually fly for free. This is Marian's plane, this was his fuel, and it was on his dime. And I thank him greatly for giving me this opportunity to actually fly his airplane. The wind loves to toss us around in small airplanes, so I just have to keep that nose right on that road. Over to the left are the Appalachian mountain chains, and over to the right is a whole bunch of farmland, and down that way is the city of Lancaster. Marian and I have headsets on so that we can communicate with each other, as well as air traffic control. Now, after we departed Harrsiburg and we climbed up to altitude, air traffic control released us so that we no longer had to communicate with them. We were on our own. And what that means is that we have to be responsible ourselves for seeing other aircraft and avoiding them. So this is called uncontrolled flight, and it's true flight freedom. You get to go where you want to go, and you just have to avoid everybody else, including the ground, and you're able to fly where you want to. So as we're heading towards Hamburg, Pennsylvania, eventually we're going to make that left-hand turn, which is going to take us over the Appalachian Mountains and closer to where I grew up in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. Just out the side window, we could see Cabela's at Hamburg, Pennsylvania. And as I make my turn, I'm heading north to cross over that Appalachian mountain chain. I'm constantly looking back and forth to see if I'm going to fly into the path of another airplane because I'm in uncontrolled airspace. But as I level out, I can see the cut in the mountain ranges just in front of us, and that is where the Schuylkill River runs. Now, if I follow the Schuylkill River and Route 61, well, that'll take me right to my old homestead. Here I am passing over Deer Lake, Pennsylvania, and just down there outside the side window are some new roads that have been fabricated in order to ease traffic congestion in the area. That means I'm getting pretty close to my home. Everything looks very familiar in this area. In fact, out the side window I could see Renninger's Market and leading up to Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania. And this is where I make my turn in order to start circling the area where I grew up. There's my high school in the middle of the frame. You could even see the track. That's where the football field is. And that's not very far from where I grew up. And here's a better view of where I lived. It was just on this side of that large tan patch of field. Can't really see the house, but I know it's there. Now, after we finished making our way up Route 61, of course doing a circle over where I grew up, we headed up north and over the county seat of Schuylkill County, which is Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Many people in the United States who drink beer may have read Pottsville, Pennsylvania on the side of a can or bottle of Yuengling. This is the home of Yuengling Brewery. This is also the county seat, and this area was known for its coal production and its textile production many years ago, before textiles pulled out of the area and coal no longer became the norm for heating and fueling our economy. All right, we're up here at Northumberland County Airport in Pennsylvania. This is really pretty close to where I grew up, so it's not too far away. I'm used to this area. There's a lot of coal around here, and in fact, I'll walk you over to one of the pieces of coal that they have just over here around the building. Here's a big lump of coal. So somebody was bad for Christmas and Santa Claus left him a big lump. Guess they decided to bring it out here to the airport rather than leaving it home. You see how shiny that is. So after a quick stop up at that Northumberland County Airport up by Shamokin, Pennsylvania, we hopped back in the Mooney and headed back on down to Harrsiburg, Pennsylvania. Except during this time we followed the Susquehanna on the way down. But sadly we were flying into the sun, which always makes it a little bit more difficult to see exactly what's in front of you. It definitely gets hazy. Once again, we hit rotation speed, pull the plane into the air, and put the gear up. Next, we'll be flying over the Susquehanna River. And if you see here, this part of the river is about a mile wide. It's not very deep. Now here, I'm going to reset the camera so that I'm closer to the airport and you can get a view of my landing. What I'm doing is I'm traveling along the river here and then making a turn to base and then a turn to final to land at the capital city airport. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking at the airport over my right wing and adjusting myself in order to be on the base leg, which is perpendicular to the end of runway 23. I'll then straighten the plane out until I'm nearly lined up with the runway and then make my turn to final. During this time, I'm also making some configuration changes to the plane to slow it down, make sure the flap settings are correct, and retrim the aircraft. Of course, Marian is helping me with these controls as well because, well, this is the first time that I'm flying his plane. But now that I'm lined up with the runway, you can watch my attempt at landing the airplane for the first time at Capital City Airport in Harrsiburg. All right, we're back here in Harrisiburg at the Capital City Airport. And what a great experience it was to be able to fly this Mooney today and get some photographs here with the BMW i8. So I think what I need to do is I owe Marian a ride in the i8. What do you think, Marian?
I think we got the room here to burn it.
If it would burn. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and click that bell for notifications, as I'll be posting more i8 content. Thanks for watching and happy motoring!